the next level up from that is understanding why our buyer has gone to market and what the context is.
Bernadette, we spoke initially around the fact that salespeople need to be more entrepreneurial, and we talked about how to be more or leverage social media to be more entrepreneurial and engage more effectively. What I'm really thinking now is I'd like to talk about how salespeople would do that more effectively, to engage more effectively. And I know a lot of salespeople still think feature, function, benefit around their product. I think that mindset might be wrong for what we're talking about. How would you say what should the mindset be, and how do people need to adapt?
So I don't necessarily believe it's wrong. So it's foundational. So we need to understand the feature, the advantage and the benefit of our product. So we need to understand it from a product perspective. But what we also need to understand is, why did our buyer go to market in the first place? Not why did our buyer buy our product, but why did our buyer go to market? So
we need to think about the product, feature, function and benefit in that context, is what you're saying.
It's almost like, let's just put that to the side. So
Right.
we need to know that anyway. As professional salespeople, we need to understand that. But the next level up from that is understanding why our buyer has gone to market and what the context is. So we can understand the content of what we're selling, but to increase our business acumen, and a lot of salespeople think that they need to be financially more knowledgeable when it comes to business acumen, but it's really not. It's also understanding the context. So for example, if you're with a buyer and you're understanding their challenges and the implications of those challenges, and you're able to recap back to them what it's really all about. So, John, what this is really all about, it's really about elevated levels of communication, isn't it?
And that's being able to challenge them.
It is, but you can do both. So right. if you're looking at being able to go to that next spot of challenging, by bringing it into some kind of context, then you're going to allow both of you to go down that path as far as the conversation is concerned. But we need to chunk the conversation up. We need to get the conversation away from the problems and the challenges and the implications, and it's about agreeing on a context. And so those words, such as it's all about growth or it's all about innovation, we put our own interpretation on those words, which is why politicians, they speak in that language all the time. So linguistically, it's called a normalisation. So salespeople need to understand how to chunk up their conversations to a real contextual level.
And that would help them speak at a more senior level, at the
Absolutely.
CXOs and so on as well.
Absolutely, because the higher up the organisation you go, we know that the C-level are not interested in specifics. So we need to be able to talk in their language. So let's go back then. What are the basic steps a salesperson that's listening to what you say right now, first, second and third things they need to do to start thinking this way? So what I believe that you need to do is you need to understand from your own perspective what your products actually, the benefit. So you do need to understand
the value. Rather, I like the word value versus benefits. It's a bit hackneyed.
Yeah, okay, I'll go with that.
Okay.
But we also need to understand why our buyer has gone to market in the first place, and understand their language. And that's understanding then what the buyer perceives as value, not what we perceive as value. Because there is a disconnect. Yeah. And so we need to be able to understand the context that the buyer's gone to market. For a lot of salespeople, this is difficult, isn't it? Because they've lived in this world of feature, function, benefit. Correct. I have a product, I understand my company value proposition, but it's really saying, put all that aside, now let's get in the company, in the customer's shoes, and really understand the context of their business and their issues and their challenges and where they're going with that. Yeah. Not even thinking about our product. Absolutely. And that's where you can go to a challenger level, if you like, once you've got that ability to speak at a contextual level. You can now become a domain expert. That's exactly it.